All right, so we can cool here with Cavo. How you doing, man?
Hey, brother, how are you, man?
Good, good. Hey, congratulations on the new song, man. I dig that Duran Duran cover.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, we did that song a long time ago. It was the funny story is a version of that was on our shopping demo that we sent around the labels back in 2008. Um, and a lot of people have been asking for it, and it's not available. It wasn't available. It wasn't. We didn't put it online, and we did a small run of CDs that we sold at like two or three shows, and then we stopped selling it because we were actually using it to shop, and then we got the deal, and so a lot of people have been asking for it, and we just didn't have it. It was like so we talked and we decided to redo it and hook it up and release it, and it's done great.
I mean, I loved it.
Thanks, brother.
I noticed that throughout this pandemic, a lot of bands have been throwing out a cover tune or here or there throughout this time. I think it's pretty cool, man. I always dig them.
Well, it's funny that you say that. One of the things I presented to the band and to the label is I'd like to do a couple of EPs of covers. We have some original music. We're actually gonna be recording three. It looks like the plan is to record 3 5-song EPs of new original music, and it's going to be kind of based off of something like Earth, Wind, and Fire, but not like Earth, Wind, but like each one's going to tell a story.
Right, right.
And I kind of wanted to do, and I presented this to the guys and the label guys, and they seemed pretty cool with it. But we'll see if we can execute it. But I wanted to do 3 4-song EPs of covers, but covers that inspired us to do music, like songs that like got you into wanting to be a musician. And I thought that was really cool, and the guys seemed pretty hyped about it, I should say. I'm not gonna say hyped. One guy is extremely hyped, the other guys are going, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. So we'll see if that happens, but it's just it's just a cool thing. So we're gonna be recording a lot of music in the next year and a half, 2 years, and just releasing them as we get them done.
See, man, I dig it, man. I mean, covers are a fun thing to do. The listeners really like them. You know what I mean? And especially now with these crazy times, it's always hard to put out a full album's worth of material. You got to put out a little something here and there to keep the fans drawn in.
Yeah, well, it's the funny thing was I was talking to Denny. He's with the label group, and one thing he told me was, when you release a record, if you're not a big huge band, we're not a huge band, like we're not playing arenas still. You get 2 to 3 months out of a record, and then something else comes out and they move on. He said, but if you release a bunch of singles, or if you release an EP format, you can stretch that out to last a little bit longer. So right when your attention drops off of what you release, suppose you release a 5-song EP and you release one single, then a second single, and then you release everything else. Well, you can stress that out to 4 months.
Right.
And then you have another CD 5-song EP ready to be released. So then you release another song. 6-8 weeks later, you release another song. 6-8 weeks later, you release the other 3 songs on the EP. And then you do it again. Next thing you know, you got a year and a half worth of plug of people being excited because you keep releasing new material.
And definitely, man.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
Especially now, I mean, with you not being able to tour to back an album, you got to give the fans something. Like you said, you put something all at once, you're only going to get so much time before it fades away. This way, it keeps them coming back in, keeps them interested.
Right, absolutely. So that's the plan.
Now, you mentioned that the Duran Duran was from 2008. I seen that you guys were doing a bunch of stuff that you had previously recorded, and that you're starting to put that stuff back out.
Yeah, there was a couple of songs that didn't make the record, Bridges. There's 2 that we're not going to release as a single. They're going to come out when so what we're going to do is we're going to package everything we've released thus far onto one thing. And there's going to be 2 songs, maybe 3, depends on what the label guys want to do, the label group guys. But there's 2 songs on it that we're not going to release a single that's going to be a part of it. So we had a song called No Way and a song called We Were Wrong. And No Way was one of the songs that didn't make Bright Nights, Dark Days, and it's that version. Like it's just been remixed. That's all we did. And We Were Wrong had it just remastered. That's it. And just, it sounds like the old Cavo from Bright Nights, Dark Days. And we wanted it to stay that way. We didn't want to modernize it. We didn't want to do what we did with Come Undone. We just wanted to leave that as, the nostalgia of it, of what it was back then. Just to make it something. But, we had songs like we released What Does It Feel Like back in May of last year. And that song was supposed to be on Bright Nights, Dark Days, and it didn't make it. So we did some stuff to it, fixed it up a little bit, and then hooked it up and released that. Wolves, what was it? Wolves, Muscle Memory, Lead On, and Without You was all supposed to be on Bridges. But, we're a democracy band. So the songs that had the most votes made the record, and the songs that had 2 or less didn't. And so some of those didn't get, more than 2 or 3 votes. There were some that had 4 votes, some that had 3 votes. And typically the ones that had 2 or less didn't make it. And so these songs were supposed to go on Bridges, but the direction of that record was so different that those songs didn't seem to jive with what was on that record. So some of those songs didn't go. So we just, hooked them up a little bit, showed it some love, had them remixed, remastered, and we've been releasing those as well. So that's what we released. I guess it was 2019, December was Wolves, and then Without You was February. Let me think here. And with Wolves, we had a really cool acoustic version of Let It Go that we did. It was freaking awesome. And with Without You, we did a country version of Ghost. That was from our first record, Bright Nights, Dark Days. Casey came from a country background. So his family, his mom listened to country. His dad used to listen to country, and he grew up playing country a little bit. And so, we did a country version of it, because that's his roots.
Right,
So it was a really cool version. And so all that's going to be on this record. And I think Casey titled it Bridges, Bright Nights, and Thieves. So we're going to package it all together and release it probably in a few months.
It's funny you mentioned the country aspect. When I was listening to Muscle Memory, I hear a little twang in the voice there.
Yeah. He's got it. It's funny. We all come from different backgrounds. Casey is more country. Andy, our drummer, is more of indie rock. He used to be in a band called Repeat out of Nashville. He's played with the Jim Blossoms a couple of times, sat in with those guys. He's such a killer drummer, but he's more of an indie rock kid. I'm a heavier guy, like Seven Dust, Shine Down, Living Color, Fishbone. Those are my kind of things. And Chris's favorite band is Red Hot Chili Peppers. John Frusciante, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, is one of his favorite guitar players. So he comes from a alternative rock and funk, and where me and Chris really vibe together is that Fishbone type groovy oriented style of music. And Muscle Memory kind of came from that vibe, because I was messing around with that bass line.
Right.
He started coming in with that vibe, that upstroke vibe, which was on a lot of the songs from Bridges. We were in that vibe. Like there's a song called I'm trying to think of the name of it. I'm sorry, it's slipping me here. There's a song that we recorded, and we went to go record it with Matt Nevesky of Blue October. We recorded Bridges with him down at the Orb Studios down in Austin, and Cynical. We had a version of Cynical, and it was really supposed to be Police-y type vibe, because I love the Police too. It had a real Police type vibe to it, but when we went down there, Chris wasn't really feeling it and wanted to kind of change it and update it or what have you. So we redid it, and it came across different. So we have a version, the original version of how it was supposed to be, we have recorded and remixed, and that one may be the last single that we release before some of this other stuff we're talking about doing, or that's just going to be on the record. But it's a more of a police type vibe to it for Cynical, and it's great. It's fantastic.
Sounds really good, man. I'd love to hear
Yeah.
it. The chance to for sure.
I'll shoot it over to you and let you take a listen to it. You let me know what you think about it.
Awesome.
Just shoot me your email after this, and I think I have it. I should have your email.
Cool.
I think I got it. Let me double check real quick. Yeah, I'll shoot it to you. You let me know what you think about it.
Definitely.
Oh, I don't have. I can get it.
Yeah, I'll send him. Well, Allison will take care of it then.
Yeah.
So you're mentioning all the diversity that you guys listen to. You said you guys were thinking about doing a bunch of covers. It's going to be everyone's going to pick something crazy, like all different styles, or
it'll probably be, yeah. Like one of the songs that I'm looking at is Def Leppard's High and Dry. It's just raw and it's old school. But I've talked about doing Living Colors, Cult of Personality, or maybe Fishbone, or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be 3 different musical tastes for sure, because we all come from different backgrounds for sure.
Definitely be interesting, man. It's always cool when you see someone do those different styles.
Yeah, and what's cool is we're one of those bands who tries to do something different with every record we do. I mean, if you listen to their first record was Painful Art of Letting Go, and that came out, let's see, that came out 2006. So I got hired into the band on a record they released. My first show was their CD release party in 2006, and it was really Matchbox 20-ish. And I like Matchbox 20, and they're great musicians, great music. But I was really into the heavier stuff. Like Seven Dust was my go-to all the time. So playing that and listening to, because I played with those guys until we started writing for Bright Nights, Dark Days. We actually wrote Champagne and Let It Go here in my basement when we were writing for that record, because I wanted to start doing something different, because I felt like I was in a cover band when I first joined, because I was playing stuff I didn't record anything on Painful Art of Letting Go, and it's their first independent release. And so I was like, yeah, it's cool, but I'm feeling like I'm in a cover band because I didn't write any of this. And they was like, well, we can start writing new stuff. So that's when we started writing, and that's where we wrote all the songs that made on Bright Nights, Dark Days. But if you listen to the transition from that to Bridges, it's completely different.
Right.
Every record is different. And there's nothing wrong with guys who stay consistent. There's tons of people I know that are successful and have made a living and do that. I think we get a little too artsy with us, and we always strive to do something different to a fault, because Bright Nights, Dark Days is completely different than Thick as Thieves, and Bridges is completely different than Thick as Thieves, and the stuff we're releasing now didn't make Bridges because it was too different,
Right.
So, but that's something we're always going to do. We always want to, I'm not going to say grow, because other artists grow and still write the same stuff. We just strive to do things different.
See, I always think when a band evolves, you know what I mean? I like when they start picking up a different sound. If there's something that, like, I don't know, if they try somebody has a hit and they try and copy it and it doesn't match up to it, you're always going to be disappointed. You're going to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. But there are some bands out there, like, let's say Shinedown. They evolve every record, and they still keep that same sound, which we have. Like, if you hear something of ours, it still sounds like Cavo.
Mm-hmm.
But Shinedown has perfected the art of changing and evolving and still being true to the beginning to the end. Like, if you listen to any one of their records, it's different. Like, they evolve, but it's executed in such a way that they don't lose fans.
Right.
It's amazing. Like I wish I were in a band that could do that. Like we're not, like, we change too much, we change way too much. Like, we tried to get heavier with Thick as Thieves than we did with Bright Nights, Dark Days. And then we tried to do lighter with Bridges because we were in a different headspace, A couple of guys were really into Kings of Leon. I was into the more funk and groove stuff, still a little bit of the heavier stuff. You know, we try to change too much. You know, great, amazing bands, like I said, like Shinedown, dude, they are phenomenal. And you can't tell me there's no evolving. They evolve with every record, and every record is grander and better and more intricate and more depth. It's great, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So I love it, you know.
Yeah, and you know, and they prove to you too that covers are a thing to do every once in a while, you know.
Well, I mean, you learn. You know, the great thing about covers is, as long as you don't change it too much, and you keep true to it, but you add you to it, it typically works. You
Mhm.
know, there are some really cool cases where someone completely, nothing but thieves. I don't know if you're familiar with those guys.
No.
You should check them out. They're from the UK. They did a version of "I Need a Hero," completely different, and it's so freaking amazing. Um, so there are individuals and bands who can take a song and completely do it different, and it's amazing. You know, I was in I was in a band called The Poor that we disbanded back in November, I think. We tried to do a version of Prince's. God, I can't think of what song it was. We tried to do a version of Prince, and we tried to make it heavy, and it was just horrible. It was flat out just bad. You know? And it's one of those things where we tried too hard. We didn't break it down and rebuild it. Like, you know, listen to Nothing But Thieves, "I Need a Hero." You know that song, "I Need a
Right.
Hero."
Uh-huh.
Dude, they did a version. It was for the Vikings sound, or for the Vikings television show. It was like a commercial or something. Dude, it's so amazing. Like, you just go, holy crap, that's freaking awesome. But they broke the song down to nothing and rebuilt it completely different. If you do something like that and you can do it well, it comes off so amazing. But you know, like my band, The Poor, God, man, it was just bad. Like, we were like, we're going to make it heavy. We're going to take it is and just make it heavy, and it was horrible. We played it out once, never played it again.
Learned your lesson real quick.
Oh my God! When we ended, everybody was just kind of like going. We're like, okay, that one's off.
Yeah, right, for sure. Now it sounds like you guys definitely didn't let the lockdown slow you guys down at all.
Well, you know, we haven't done major touring since 2013, 14. Um, and touring for us became an issue because we were losing money touring. And I don't think we're ever going to tour like we used to. Like, from 2000 and I guess it was the end of 2008 to 2013, into 2013, we toured, like we were on the road. The first 2, 3, 4 years, I think we were home for 70 some odd days each year. Um, but it was near the end when we were touring, where, you know, you got to pay management, you got to pay the lawyer, you got to pay your crew, pay the bus. And you know, when it's all said and done, everyone's making more money than you. You know,
Right.
things got to change. You know, and you know, we're not a bunch of little kids, young kids. I shouldn't say little kids. We're not a bunch of young kids living at our parents' house. You know, we have families and homes and responsibilities. So we just decided, you know, maybe touring is not, like, we'll do some one-offs, we'll do festivals and small runs and things like that, but we're not going to tour as hard as we did.
Mhm.
Uh, and we came to that conclusion with when we were doing Bridges. And you know, I wish we would have had a little bit more success with that record. It's Casey's favorite record. Um, you know, great songs. It was just, we changed too much, I think, in my opinion. But still it was a great representation of where we were in our headspace. You know, it's a moment of time. Um, and then, you know, we released Wolves and started to get some traction and things popping, and then the pandemic hit, and it's like, okay, well, we'll reset. We will continue to release this music because everybody's home and everybody needs things to listen to, watch, or whatever. And we'll figure out what we're going to do. You know, and the plan is, you know, springtime, fall, although all the festivals already booked. But the goal was to try to get onto festivals and one-offs through the summer and things like that, and continue to write and release music. And the only thing that's changed is we don't know if festivals are still going to go or if they're going to cancel them or not. So we're just going to continue to stick with our plan and continue to write and release music and see what happens. Like, we'll always be a band.
That's definitely got to be a hard thing as a musician, not knowing. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing of not knowing your future. It's got to be just a different time.
Well, it's funny, whenever any musician that signed a record deal, you don't know your future, so it kind of comes with it, and you just kind of have to go, the only thing we can control is releasing music. And the good thing and bad thing about the internet is music is worth less now, but it's easier to get out to people. Before, if you wanted to release a record, you wanted to get it to the masses, you had to be on a record deal. Otherwise, you're just selling it out of your trunk of your car and it shows. No one in Alaska is going to hear your music. No one in the UK is going to hear you. Nowadays, although music is worth less monetarily speaking, there's bands who haven't been paid for any CD sale in years, but when they release a song online, it's available everywhere. Like, we actually have an interview tomorrow night at 7:00 with a radio station in the UK.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy.
So like, pros and cons, they're both pros and cons. I mean, hell, when Champagne came out, if Napster wasn't around, we'd be millionaires, But unfortunately, it came out at a time where people were stealing before they were buying. So we lost out on a lot of money back in the day.
Now you mentioned that you guys will always be a band. I mean, recently there was a lot of rumblings that you guys were going to break up, something like that.
Because when you don't release music, and then every individual is in other things, people make assumptions and they say we're breaking up. The plan was never to break up. And I don't think we'll ever break up. I think we'll always be a band. We'll always try to release music. There might be a hiatus, if anything, but the band's not going to break up. And I think that's what it was. Chris is in another band in St. Louis called Greek Fire, which has Moon, who used to be in Story of the Year. He's their guitar player. I was in a band called The Poor that was doing really well in the local area around here. Andy's in a couple of bands down in Nashville. So it just looked like we weren't a band anymore because Cavo wasn't really doing much. So people just assumed, oh, they broke up. But no, we didn't. It was just, we were all doing other things, and life took over. And so we made a pledge to each other. We were like, no, we're not ending this. It's not going to end. We're always going to do music. Those guys are my best friends. They're my buds. And we may squabble and fight here and there, but in the end, they're family to me and they feel the same.
See, I think it's always good when musicians have a different outlet to go ahead and get some of the shit out that they need to, you know what I mean? But then back to where they need to be,
Yeah. I'll send you a version of my band, The Poor. I'll send that to you as well. We did a full record. It was called In the Midst of Lions.
Cool.
I'll shoot that over to you too. It's really cool. I loved it. We had a couple of members in and out and singers moving. And so I just,
right.
I was like, it was a good run. It's one of my favorite records I've ever done.
It gets hard sometimes,
Oh yeah. The funny thing is I wrote that with our old guitar, or our old drummer, Chad from Cavo. When he quit Cavo, he and I and Jeff Lee and a buddy of ours, John Danowski, got together, and I wrote the majority of the music on an acoustic guitar sitting at Chad's house while he played a cajon and Jeff Lee sang.
Oh yeah.
Well, he wrote everything like that. And like, we wrote that record, the majority of the songs in like probably 8 of the 11 songs on that record, probably in a 2-month time period. Like, there's a bunch of songs that we had that we didn't use, but we wrote just a crap ton of songs in a couple of months of just acoustic sitting in Chad's house. And it was probably the easiest writing because it was just me and the singer vibing and it was like no other opinions were popping in, and we just wrote that whole thing, and then we got other members in. We wanted to make it live and electric, and then the songs developed. We're like, here is the blueprint put on top to fill the song up. And we hired Jack from Brook Royal. Brook Royal's a band here in St. Louis. They were really big. Actually, we took them on the road with us back in 2010 for a little while. And just a great guy. And then our second guitar player, original for the Poor, was Addison from a band called The Discrepancies here in St. Louis. They're a pretty big band. They got signed a couple of years ago, but he was our guitar player for a while. And then his band got the deal, and it's like, all right, you're hitting the road. See you, brother. And we got another guy to come in. So, it was just one of those things. It's a great band. Loved it. I'll shoot it to you. You can check it out. We got videos and everything, but.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. I'd love to hear it for sure.
Yeah.
Now, the people that are listening to this, they want to follow up. They want to know what's next from you. They want to check out the video for that Duran Duran cover, everything about you. Where do they go? What do they do?
Well, they can go to our website, www.cavomusic.com. They can go to our YouTube or Facebook. It's all there. We're excited. We hope everybody digs it. Share it with all your friends, family. That's your mom's error song, so send it to her.
For sure, man.
Everybody's mom loved Duran Duran back in the day, right?
Sure. But definitely, man, that track was great, and I really can't wait to see what's coming next from you guys. I'm glad you let me know that you get all this music coming out. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. We got a lot of the songs already, figured out, some new ideas. So it's just, booking studio time, getting time set up. Our drummers in Texas, our drummers in Nashville. So they'll be sending tracks up to us, and we'll be recording on top. So it's, a logistics nightmare a little bit, but, we'll figure it out. And once we get it figured out, then it's just going to be like, super easy. It's the first couple of songs. I'm sure it's going to be the difficult one, but yeah, lots of music coming. Like I said, the goal is to do 3 5-song EPs, actually 2 5-song, 1 6-song EP, and then 3 4-song cover EPs is the plan.
Right.
And I think, it's not stressful. We're going to take our time. And so we'll have music for 2021 to 22.
Awesome.
That's the plan.
Right.
I'm making the guy stick to it. I can be a lot meaner than I come across.
Well, I'm glad to see you guys are keeping busy, man. You know what I mean? Good for you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate you taking the time.
Awesome, man. Like I said, I love everything I heard so far. I can't wait to hear what's next.
Yeah.
And for taking the time to talk with me.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. Take care.
Take care, brother. See ya.